Jacksonville artist K Shorty, also known as Tyrese Powell, almost had one of the craziest rags to riches story in rap. After coming up from the trenches of the Jacksonville rap scene in one of the roughest areas of the city, he blew up online, was even able to ink a 7-figure rap deal. But in a matter of minutes, all this fame, money, and influence apparently went down the drain.
I don't know what's going on, but they say I've been charged with murder.
Stop rivalries.
When he was accused of shooting a man in a crazy incident that went down, man. We got to talk about the rise and fall of Jacksonville's K Shorty and everything that went down in that situation, because it's one of the most wild stories in hip-hop. We got to get into it right now, but before we do, I'm gonna need you to like, comment, subscribe. We're gonna run to this video, man. Make sure y'all check out the merch link in the description at staysafeworld.com. You already know, man. Let's go. K Shorty is one of the rappers that had an interesting rise to fame during this whole Jacksonville drill rap scene, man. He was an associate of Foolio and actually looked up to him and came up with his brother Bibby that was slayed, and actually one of the biggest stories in the Jacksonville, rival between Foolio, Young and Ace and all of them. But, one of the things that has been going viral recently was a heart-wrenching video of K Shorty basically calling his mom, telling her that he's being accused of a murder that went down, man. And that case in itself is basically what possibly might just ruin his life. It was a extremely fast rise and fall with this dude, because even before turning 21, he basically blew up on a nationwide scale, and then a couple months after, he basically lost everything fighting this case, man. We got to get into this story because it's one of the craziest stories I've ever seen. They're saying before turning 21, he was fielding 7-figure record deals. He was shot twice, witnessed the death of his girlfriend, and is accused of killing a man. This is all just a crazy ass story that went down, and this is someone's life. Tyrese Powell's story should be that of a Jacksonville success. Rags to riches, local guy makes good. The 21-year-old entertainer who performs under the name K Shorty is one of many Jacksonville rappers. He's the youngest in the bunch with the shortest amount of time in the game. He made music for just over 2 years, but in that time he surpassed many of his counterparts, producing music videos and songs, clocking views and streams that took over the city and the industry by surprise. His rapid success even shocked him, but unfortunately for Powell, his fall was much quicker than his meteoric rise. A Duval County jury found him guilty last month of possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, and he remains in jail on an unrelated murder charge. His manager Bruce Black testified at his February 2023 trial, saying K Shorty spent his last months of freedom traveling between Los Angeles, Atlanta, New York, and Miami. The young phenom had proposed record deals ranging from $60,000 to $2 million from labels such as APG, Atlantic, Alamo, Interscope, and Slip and Slide. All that interest basically dried up after Powell's February 2021 arrest on a firearms charge and a subsequent charge of murder in November 2021 in a separate case. His music, like many of the Jacksonville rappers, is called drill rap. Most of the performers in this violent genre are gang members, and their rhymes are almost always about crimes, killing, taunting their ops, rival gang members. And the recent trend in Jacksonville and in other cities around the country, crime investigators and prosecutors using lyrics of these drill rappers against them in court. Lyrics often denoting what happened in the streets and are being used to convict rappers suspected of crimes. It's so crazy, man. The fact that the rappers are rapping about the stuff that is actually happening is helping the police's job so much that it's just crazy that it happened like this, man. But one of the craziest cases that basically went down was the whole situation that happened with his girlfriend and what happened with Bibby. Powell's best friend was Foolio's younger brother, Adrian Gaynor, nicknamed Bibby. The two used to talk about becoming rappers. Powell said he initially took the name Herbo after one of his favorite rappers, G Herbo. Gaynor took the name Bibby after G Herbo's partner, also called Bibby. While he was locked up in juvenile detention center, Powell said he often talked to Gaynor on the phone. Foolio, who's a suspected member of 6 Block and the KTA, was in constant battle with another rap group called ATK, led by another prominent Jacksonville rapper from the city's west side, Young and Ace. Much of this war was played out in Fulio and Young and Ace's music. It was also playing out in the streets of Jacksonville with many gang-related killings and a whole bunch of crazy ass music that came out, especially between Who I Smoke and Fulio's basically response to that, When I See You, which basically blew up the rap beef in a monster way in a nationwide scale. Powell said he talked to Bibby about these dangers. I called him on the jail phone, Powell said in an Off the Porch interview. I said, I see you out there. I see you with Fulio, but don't get caught up. You know how bad they want him. They'll get anybody just to hurt him, which is crazy. A week later, Gaynor was shot to death in the Hilltop complex. In true drill rap form, rivals of Fulio and KTA taunted them by dropping Bibby's name in a series of viral rap songs. Hakeem Robinson, a close friend of Young and Ace and an ATK member who performed under the name Queso, regularly posted memes, posts on social media bragging about smoking Bibby, as well as releasing numerous songs about the 16-year-old. It was at this point he finished his 18-month sentence, and Powell took on the name K Shorty and was determined to be a rap star when he released music. I feel like this music's my only option. I can't do nothing else, Powell said. I can't get a job. There ain't really shit for me else to do, which is super crazy. When Powell was released from juvenile detention, Jacksonville's rap scene was going full tilt and getting attention nationwide as the gang beefs played out in viral music. When I came home, I was trying to get a job and chill out. The newly freed 18-year-old started rapping and his career took off pretty quickly. His first release was called Tired of Shooting. The first verse of his first song made it pretty clear what his music was going to be about. A whole bunch of talking about ops and killing people and stuff like that. K Shorty was an instant hit in the drill scene, doing basically disrespectful lyrics, dissing ops and rivals killed in Jacksonville area shootings. His newfound notoriety made him a favorite topic of hip-hop bloggers and fans, but it put him in the crosshairs literally of rival gangs. Powell said he turned to music as a way out, but it just kept pulling him in. Somehow, some way, I got dragged back into the shit, he said. Some shit happened to me. I ended up getting shot, Powell said on Fuchsia's TV interview. Something happened to my girlfriend. It just put me right back in that shit. Man, and this is one of the craziest stories. The death of his girlfriend was a crazy turning point in his life, which sort of became the beginning of the end. It was just a trip to the store that turned into something way more deadly. On March 19, 2020, a couple of weeks after he turned 19, Powell was on a date with his girlfriend, Anita Wish, a popular cheerleader at Revolt High School. She was driving her new car and was in the process of dropping Powell off when they reached the Sherwood Forest community on Jacksonville's north side. A gray vehicle pulled up in front of Wish's car. Two men got out and opened fire on the couple. Jacksonville police were called to the scene for a report of gunfire. They arrived and found Powell injured in the vehicle. He was rushed to the hospital where he was treated and released. Weish was pronounced dead at the scene, man. 10 months later, police arrested two people, Roland Ball Jr. and Xavier Porter, charging them with shooting Ball, who was 21 when he was arrested, was charged with second-degree murder and aggravated battery. Porter, 16 at the time of his arrest, was charged with conspiracy to commit murder. Jacksonville police said the shooting was gang-related, was in retaliation for another shooting that occurred about half a mile away 2 days before when Weish was killed and Powell was injured. That's when Daquan Saxon, 20, was shot to death in the 4600 block of Roanoke Boulevard. Porter and Ball believed Powell was responsible and shot revenge, according to reports. During one of his interviews, Powell described the dangers of his newfound success and was always having to look over his shoulder. I can't even walk to the corner store no more freely. You can't be going to the store for a drink and somebody stop you for a picture. Now somebody you don't like pulling up. In that frame, you could have been in the car driving home. Now your ass is dead. Revealing your location on social media can also be deadly, he says. Man, in August 2020, 5 months after Wish's death and the attempt on Powell's life, Jacksonville police were called to a shooting in progress at a convenience store in the 9300 block of Norfolk Boulevard. When they arrived, officers found Powell in a vacant lot nearby with a gunshot wound to his leg. About 70 yards from him, police found an AR-15. Investigators found spent casings from the firearm nearby. They also found a hoodie sweatshirt with eye holes in the hood, which doubles as a mask when worn backwards. Power's DNA was found in the rifle and the sweatshirt. Investigators said Power was firing the rifle during the shootout. In February 2021, he was charged with being a gang-related felon in possession of the firearm in that case, bro. That's wild. Just like getting caught with the AR-15 while being a felon, shooting people with a mask on, man, that's crazy. It took Duval County just over an hour to find him guilty of those charges last month. One of the state's key pieces of evidence against Power was the lyrics in his song On Your Ass. Prosecutors said the song describes precisely what happened. Bruh, you cannot make this up. Portion of the lyrics state, I'm shot, I ain't even know where to go, this crazy. Aw shit, how the fuck I dropped my blick? I'm losing blood and shit. They still shooting, now I crawl through the bushes. I said a prayer for hope. I'm telling God, please, I ain't ready to go. I ain't gonna do no more bad. He know I'm lying. I said that last time. I shot old boy in the ass. Police sirens come flooding from the block. Look how God works, coming through saving my ass. I gotta stick to the code. I started stripping, had to get rid of the mask, get the fuck away from the pole. Bruh, how you gonna literally get away but then describe in detail what exactly happened in your raps, man? That's just so crazy. While there was no shortage of rivals for Power to bang on in his music, his biggest nemesis is Noah Williams, another Jacksonville rapper who performs under the name Spinnin' Benz. Williams is the lead artist in that whole Who I Smoke song that I was talking about earlier with Wappa with the Chopper and Young and Ace. Noah Williams and his cohorts taunt their rivals in the song by calling out the names of several people killed in Jacksonville shootings, including Powell's best friend Bibby. Powell's most serious charge, murder, followed what happened to Williams on September 28, 2021. He was driving in a car that day with two other rappers, Deshaun Williams, who performs under the name Greenlight, and another named Xavier, who performs by the name 187 No Face or BMGZ. Noah Williams went on Instagram posting a live video that gave away his location. You know, Spinner Benz basically posted a live video that gave away his locations. Williams and two other men were sitting in a Dodge Challenger outside Raceway gas station on Lenox Avenue when a black Range Rover Evoque pulled up and opened fire on them. Williams and Greenlight ran into the gas station, but No Face was left behind. The Range Rover sped off. Williams and his friends went back to the Dodge Challenger and drove to the emergency room. No Face was shot in the head. He was pronounced dead at the hospital. Jacksonville police investigators were on the lookout for the black Range Rover Evoque. The following day, JSO's gang unit spotted a similar vehicle while surveying the Woodland Acres community. Officers pursued the Range Rover, which sped off. It crashed into a pole and the occupants exited the vehicle and attempted to run off. The investigators caught them. They were identified as Power and his friend Lorano Spam, another rapper who goes by the name Lil Cracker. Police said they found spent shell casings in the Range Rover, and Spam was wearing clothes that matched the description given the day of the shooting. Power was charged with second-degree murder, 2 counts of attempted murder, and gun possession by a convicted felon again. Spam was charged with resisting arrest. A couple months after the shooting, Williams dropped a new song called Badass Day, which includes a likely reference to the shooting and the death of his friend No Face. They sprayed up my whole side. I didn't get hit. I'm still confused. I still hear Face voice in my head. I know he still got some shit to do. During his Future's TV interview, Power was adamant that he's not a gangster. He said, my mama wouldn't respect me for saying I'm a gangster. That's not what I was raised to be. I'm just so what happens to be, what happens when you get dragged into something. He said his advice to children was, the shit I talk about, that shit true, but don't let that shit influence you to go do the same shit, he said as a crew of his friends surrounding him during the interview burst into laughter. I'm trying to get out the shit that I'm doing, Power said. I'm just rapping about the shit because that's what people want to hear. And that's just it, man. Another story in Jacksonville about lost souls and people that basically, you know, talk about what happens in their raps and then get arrested for those same situations and talk about it in detail. But I guess that's the allure of it and why people tap in, because it's like really storytelling and telling the real stories of what really happened, man. But eventually that's going to get you caught up, and that's what happened. And you're either going to end up dead or in a jail cell. So I guess he's fortunate for just being in jail, not having to be dead like what happened to a lot of the other people that this shit went through, man. It's still unfortunate unfortunate, and it's still heart-wrenching seeing the message that he sent his mom saying that he's being charged for a murder because he felt like in the end his mom didn't want him to be a gangster. But I guess that's what society and the media is making him really become, man. But hey, let me know in the comments what y'all think about this situation, man. Real stay safe shit. You already know what's going on. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, man. Peace.